Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since we did a video, but here we are, we're back. We're also in the UK. We sold Nancy last year in December. So she's gone to Miz and Rich, and you can check those guys out on Instagram. They're doing some travels at the moment. About to set off on a pretty cool journey, and they're also going to give Nancy some TLC, and she's going to be getting a little bit of a makeover, which is pretty cool. What are we doing? There's a van here behind me. This is the new van that we're going to be converting, but no, it's not for us to do any traveling in. This one is going to be for sale. So what have we got? We have a 2020 mid-wheelbase premium Sprinter with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's got aircon, reversing camera, it's got the extra wide camera. It is a 6-speed manual with 20,000 miles on the clock, and it has one owner, and it will stay that way until its new owner. There is a 24-month warranty from Mercedes-Benz, which is mega, so you got that peace of mind for whoever ends up with this vehicle. And I am currently starting the conversion. So this is not just a one-off conversion, this is part of the new business, which is called Grounded Vans. For some time we've been thinking about what can we do. I was actually working in digital as a UX designer. I did that for 6 to 7 years, and to be honest, I actually found a new passion of converting vans and getting stuck into off-grid systems and overlanding, building some absolute wicked rigs, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm pursuing that passion. I've got some great foundations, I've got some great people around me, and now we're going to get to work. So kicking off a major part of the build by cutting a hole in the roof for the pop-top entry hatch, I marked out the template provided by ATEK, used a sheet metal nibbler to cut the initial hole, and then I had to swab to a jigsaw as there's ribs below that were 2 sheets of metal that were just a bit too thick for the nibbler. But once the hole was cut, I was able to file the edges and then ready to test fit the roof. So the floor is down, the van is stripped out. I'm yet to bolt this down. It's going to need a bit more work because we're going to be putting some extra seats in this van, but I just wanted to get the templates done just to make sure that everything was okay. And you know, I've done the usual, clean it out and make sure there's no rust and all that sort of stuff. But this van, because it's so new and such low mileage, it is absolutely perfect. Already I have been chopping out metal, turning the van into a bit of Swiss cheese, and there is a big hole in the roof. And why is there a big hole in the roof? Because we are fitting this. This is the ATEK POP roof. We've had this up on the forklift today and we've test fitted it, and it now fits. It was a bit of a pain to fit, but now it's all good. The template that was provided was about 5mm too small all the way around, so there's a bit more trimming to do than I hoped, but anyway, we're here, it's all done. So that is the base bit, so let's go down. So this van is actually going to sleep 4 people. It's going to seat 4, maybe 5 people, depending on what we do with the seats. It's going to have a huge electrical setup. It's going to be induction cooking, it will be diesel heating and hot water. It's going to have a pop-up shower, a toilet, space for mountain bikes, space to put your skis on the back. It's really going to be an off-grid adventure rig. This is the front wheel drive model. Didn't go 4x4 because they are mega money, but stay tuned on that one. And it's just going to be such a good rig. I'm going to put so much time and love into this van. Yeah, so stay tuned. Tonight I am shutting off. After this work I've been doing, tomorrow we'll be back to get this pop-top fitted on the van to see how it works, and we'll be calling it a day there. And I will take you on this journey of how I build this van out, what equipment I'm getting, how it's going to be kitted out. You'll know the ins and outs of it. So yeah, stay tuned and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So it's the next day, getting ready to fit the pop-top on the roof. But before we do that, there was a little bit of preparation work that needed to be done. So getting it up on the forklift to get access so we can get this thing sanded to apply the adhesive. So we're going to be sanding all of underneath of this pop top here, this plate that's going to go on. So we're going to go around, rub any parts that are going to be contacting the van, rub that down, hoover it off, and then the top of the van will be primed. And that's is what's going to give us the best adhesion. But as you can see under here, it's all just fiberglass. You've got fiberglass, you've got some metal brackets that hold the hinges on. Yeah, not a huge amount to it. Obviously it's quite a complex moulding, which is why they are the price that they are. So it's important that I get this right. So to sand this back, I started out with using a belt sander that was hooked up to a vacuum to stop all the dust. Made sure that I wore a dust mask for this and some glasses, as it was really dirty work and you don't want to be breathing in those fiberglass particles. Moved over to a mouse sander for the more tricky bits, as you can see, just moving around the pop top so I can get in every part, have a little hoover off, and then it was good to go, ready to wipe down and to try and get it on the roof. Absolutely stoked with the progress. This roof is now prepped and ready. I've just got to prep the roof of the van and then we can get it on there. Yeah, and the pop top will be done. It's probably one of the biggest jobs on the van, one of the first jobs on the van, so I'm absolutely stoked it's going all right. Here I am on the roof of the van. There's just something that feels so weird about sanding the paintwork. Like, I know it needs to be done, but it's just proper weird. Anyway, better get to it. For sanding down the paintwork, ready for the adhesive, I used a 240 grit sandpaper. I found this just to be enough to rough it up, but not too much. I did this on the whole roof, followed by rubbing down with methylated spirit to clean off any dust or grease, before moving on to applying the activator and primer, ready to apply the adhesive. So here I'm using the methylated spirit, rubbing over the whole of the roof of the van, just to get rid of the majority of any dust or grease, ready to get the roof stuck down. 3 products that we're going to bond the pop top down to the roof in. So we've got the Sikaflex Activator 205, we've got the primer 206, which goes on after, and then we've got the Sikaflex 252, which is the bonding agent that we're going to use to be able to put on the parts that we've activated and primed, and then that is going to basically bond the pop top to the roof. Here I'm applying the Sikaflex Activator 205. This is used to prep the surface ready for the primer, but when applying this I'm using the advice of Sikaflex from a video that I watched from them, by applying in one motion, which is towards me. This prevents rubbing off the application of the activator, so if I was to rub it back and forth, and it's going to give it the best chance of adhesion ready for the primer. So here I'm doing the same process on the underside of the pop top base. As you can see, I'm using methylated spirit to give it a rub down, but you can also see where the entry hole is for the pop top, so that's the part that you would climb through to get up onto the roof of the van to sleep. This process is quite repetitive, but it's necessary to ensure that the pop top is going to bond down correctly, as there's no mechanical fixings when mounting this. At this point I've applied the primer, which is a black liquid that's applied to the parts of the roof that will have contact with the pop top base, and here you can see I'm putting on the Sikaflex 252 on all of the ribs, ready to get the pop top mounted and in place. It's worth mentioning that this would have been a quicker and easier process if I'd had the automatic mastic gun at this point. So we didn't film the last bit, but the pop top roof is in. It was a very messy job. It took 2 of us, me and Jordan, lifted it up on the forklift, and then we lifted it off onto the roof, and now it's just been weighted down by a pallet, but I will show you what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. Right then guys, it has been a very full-on week, bit hectic, lots to learn fitting the pop top, but there it is. The van is gonna seat 4 now has its second sleeping area, which is just amazing. Let me take you inside. Hatch to get in, fly net, front flap that opens. You've got a net on the left hand side, and then there is your sleeping area, and then this side you've got a nice area for a bit of storage as well, which is just absolutely awesome. This has been a first for me this week. Absolutely over the moon with it now. One from my mate Jordan has been an absolute diamond helping me this week. It's been real hard work, and I probably wouldn't do it again without a winch. We did it on a forklift and it was so tricky. But yeah, a winch to be able to lift it up and bring it onto the van rather than having to lift it sideways. It's been really knackering, so yeah, maybe for the next one for any customers, I'll invest in a winch and we'll do that. But that's the end of this one. Stay tuned for the next episode. Not sure what that's going to be yet. I will be insulating it next week. It's a bit boring, not too much to show there, so The next thing I'll probably end up fitting is the side windows, the flares, the seats, and then I can start building the furniture. Peace out.